So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another album review of The Shield Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and today we're going to talk about the brand new album by the band Oceans of Slumber, and it's called Where Gods Fear to Speak. And this is the follow-up to 2022's Starlight and Ash, which that album was more of a stripped-down approach to the band. This is a band from Texas that they've always been known to have like a progressive style to them, progressive metal, and mix different elements. But on that album in 2022, they stripped it down. It was more like a goth type of record, less like metal elements. And although I enjoyed it, I did miss the metal elements on that record. And also, I read the record label that they were in were not as ecstatic about the change that the band did. So what did they do? They changed to another record label, Seasons of Mist, which is a record label that is known more for letting bands, experiment and do their own thing. And you know what? On this album, they bring the heaviness and epicness back 10 times twofold. They bring it all in, but they don't lose also the soulful elements that they had on their previous record. So yeah, this is 10 tracks, 9 originals, because the last track is a cover of Wicked Game by Chris Isaac. And this is an album that is a concept record. So the concept of the album is like it's an apocalyptic, like Western future, and these songs are the soundtrack to that movie. So that's how they did this record, and it makes sense because it's a very cinematic record. It's a record with a lot of like tempo changes. So this record, it has doom, it has death metal, it has goth, it has progressive metal, you name it, everything all into one, and even some black metal elements into the sound. So you may think, isn't that, Hector, isn't that a lot of like shit put into an album? And I say, like, I think they do it just right on this release. So yeah, they're blending everything. And this album, they went and recorded in Bogota, Colombia. I don't know why they went there to recording that in Colombia, but it sounds great. So they went to Colombia to record this back in 2023. So they changed the record label. And the album, a lot of there's obviously no denying that Cami, the lead singer, now Cami Beverly, because she married the drummer, is a standout of any record of Oceans of Slumber. Her voice is just so unique. She can do it all. And on this record, she does it first. She has her first like growls in the song Where Gods Fear to Speak, which is the album opener. But the drummer, Dover Beverly, he's really like a mastermind in this band, because he composes he composes the music, and he came from like a grindcore like background, but now like he does like a lot of the composing of the music, because people say, yeah, Cami's vocal, but the music is also very important, and he's a hell of a drummer. And I think that Cami and him have like that chemistry that really works within the band. So yeah, the album really has a great, like I said, a cinematic feel to the record. And I remember this is a band that I watched live when I was living in Florida in 2018, and I saw them in a shithole of a bar, like I think it was called O'Malley's. It was somewhere in Florida, and they opened for Insomnium. And I remember I was very excited to see them because I listened to their 2016 Winter album and The Vanished Heart, so I was really pumped for that. They had 2 albums at that time. And I even bought them the t-shirt. So I met Cami and I met the drummer, and even though it was like a small bar, they played like that was a giant stadium. And after that, I kept being a fan. So this is a band that I think should be bigger. Like they have great musicians, a very unique vocal styles, but they have, their last album, Starlight and Ash, really was an album that could have appealed to a larger audience that didn't listen specifically to metal because it was more soulful. But apparently, I read that they didn't capitalize on that, and obviously, they didn't have the backup of their old label. But on this one, they go heavy, but they go soulful at the same time. So let's talk about the tracks, shall we? So, Where Gods Fear to Speak, which opens the album, it opens the album like very metal, very like it's a very like hard-hitting track, but Cami's vocals soar in this track, and there's also some male vocals that really give some great oomph to the track. And when Cami does that growl, you're like, wow, she can growl too. Is there anything that this woman can't do? So it's a great album opener. So the first half of the album is more metal and harder, and the second half gets a little bit more like mellow, but not super mellow, so don't be afraid. Then you have a track called Run From the Light, and on this track they have an extra guest vocalist from Moonspell. I'm gonna read his name, Fernando Ribeiro. Gives an amazing performance with the more like harsher vocals, and with Cami they do with each other. And Run From the Light has some blast beats. It's like very fast, and it's like death metal meets black metal at times. So it's a very hard-hitting song. Then they have one of the longest tracks, or I think the longest tracks on the record, with Don't Come Back From Hell. And that track is just so great. It's a great track. The track really is a track that, even though it's 8.5 minutes, it goes by so smoothly. So it starts like slower, but then it gets like it's very aggressive. But then, like in the 4-minute mark, you get like a soft piano, and you get just Cami's vocals, just beautiful vocals soaring over it. But then it picks up again, and it has harsher vocals, some male vocals as well. And it's just it has some great doomy riffages in this track. So after that epic track, they follow with a song that is more accessible, with Wish, which is also a shorter track, and that's more goth rock to it. Again, Cami's vocals on that one really shine. There's some great choruses on that track, and I think it's after like 3 songs that are more hard hitting, having like a song that it's more like mid pace is a good change to the flow of the record. But then, they go into Poem of Ecstasy, which is was a single, and it's one of the best tracks on the record. It's not my favorite, but it's one of the best tracks. And that one has a lot of like changes in like the singing. There's aggression, there's beauty, there's piano. There's like a very, like the lyrics are great. She's singing in a part like she doesn't want to be without someone, and it feels very heartfelt. It's like a very amazing song. Maybe talking about someone that you love and you don't want to lose them. And I think Cami's vocals on this one really sell the track. Soulful vocals, and the way she can deliver, like it's just top notch. I think she's one of the best, if not the best, female metal singer right now, in my opinion, because she can do it all. And then they go into a track, The Given Dream, which was another one of the single, and that one, it's more, it feels like slower. It's like more like a rock song, but again, it's like Wish. That one and Wish have similarities to them to me. Then they go into what will be my favorite track on the record, which is I Will Break the Pride. Uh, it's just an amazing track. Pride of Your, I can't read right now the name, but that song is the best track on the record. And on that track, what the band does so well is just, there's a part where there's some synths and there's like a piano on the track as well. And they just do it beautifully. And the name is I Will Break the Pride of Your Will. Because, yeah, I got to say the whole name of the song. On that one, again, Cami gives an amazing performance, but there's also some great drumming, great guitar riffing on that one. And it's just an epic track. I think this is the best track that Oceans of Slumber had written so far as a band. Then they follow another track with a guest vocalist with Michael Stan from Dark Tranquility with Prayer. And Prayer is a song that starts more heavy, but then it really sounds like that melodic death metal from Dark Tranquility. So Cami and Michael do some dueling vocals and like they trade off each other. But when it slows down, Michael gives an amazing performance. And you know, he's got a great voice and it really complements the song. It's a great track. I think that easily could be a single because it has that single quality. Then the album has the track The Impermanence of Fate, and that is a very unpredictable track. It starts very slow with some synths and piano and Cami singing beautifully, but then it goes into straight black metal, extreme metal territory and some great doom riffages. So it's a great song to like, if the album ended with that song, it would be great. But you know what? They have another song. They decide to end the album with a cover, and how they explained it in interviews. I saw the Metal Meltdowns interview with Cami, and apparently this song was like they didn't know they were gonna cover this song, but they were somewhere at a bar, and there was like a cover band or someone who played this song, and apparently they butchered it, and they jokingly said like, we can make a better version of this song. And guess what? They did it, and it's closes this album. And this song has been covered before. I remember I love the Hymn cover, which is more like goth rock, but this cover is more stripped down. It's just the piano and Cami's voice, and there's also male vocals in some of the parts, and it's just a very beautiful way to end this epic, stunning masterpiece of a record. I love how they do this and make the song, like, even though it's a cover, you feel like it's an Oceans of Slumber song. So it's a great cover. And like they said, you know, because this is supposed to be like a movie, so this song is like a cinematic finishing to the credits if this was a movie. So in conclusion, to me, Where Gods Fear to Speak is easily one of my favorite albums of the year so far. I think this is Oceans of Slumber best album yet, and it's a shame that this band is not more well known. If you don't know this band, please give yourself a break. Give them a break and listen to this. You know, this is a band that every song they blend so many styles, but they work there. It's not the type of record that you listen to and you're like, oh yeah, I know where it's going. No. And I think the beauty of this record is that it rewards the listener with each listen. On each listen, you can get something more out of this record. I actually got this promo a few days earlier, so I've been listening to it a while, but I wanted to wait on the review because I really felt like this is the type of album that you really have to listen to on repeat listens to get more of the nuances. So I want to know from you, Couchers, what do you think of Oceans of Slumber, Where Gods Fear to Speak? If you made it this far, this is one of my largest album reviews, almost 15 minutes, but you know what? I had a lot to say about this record. I think this is right now in the top 5 albums that's being released this year. I don't know if it will be my album of the year, but I can tell you that this is a band that you should not sleep on, and they deserve all the praise that they can get. So comment down below what are your favorite tracks from this record, and if you like the videos that I put it out, do not forget to subscribe, and do not forget to give me a thumbs up. That helps me with the YouTube algorithm, and all that shit, to get to more people like yourselves. So until next time, Couchers, this is Hector, the chill dude on a couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you and goodbye.